What is going on, everybody? Welcome in. Happy Friday. We are here to open up another podcast. Of course, I'm joined by my good buddy here, Mythic AZ. Brother, happy Friday, man. How you doing today?
Absolutely, dude. Happy Friday. Let's get it, man. End of the week. We're here. This is the time everybody roots for, man. So, feeling great. Hopefully, you're doing the same. You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Can't complain. Right, got 2 days until game day. Right, whether you're at work, at school, doing God knows what. I hope you're having a very, very good day here because I'm excited. Right? Any chance we have to talk about Cardinals football, I'm super ready to go here. Now, obviously, if you guys are just getting here, definitely do me a huge favor, smack up the like button. And if it's your first time on the stream, either through Apple Podcasts or through YouTube, subscribe it up or send us a follow here on Apple Podcasts because we are now streaming live on Apple Podcasts. So take us on the road if you choose to do so. So let's open this up here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Cardinals. All right, let's start off with, obviously we got a pretty big matchup here, Houston versus Cardinals this weekend, but let's first dive into the most recent acquisition here for the Arizona Cardinals. I believe it happened on Wednesday where we ended up claiming a running back from the New York Jets. Now, this report came from Ian Rappaport, and it says this: former Jets running back Michael Carter was claimed by the Arizona Cardinals today, sources said. Now, I want to go ahead and open it up here for obviously everybody in the chat. Let us know how you feel, but let's dive into what you think about this move here, Mythic.
I think it's fantastic. And as soon as Michael Carter got released, I was all over this. I was like, the Arizona Cardinals need a backup running back, right? Because Keontae Ingram and Amari DeMarcado they haven't been as productive as you'd want them to be, right? Keontae Ingram obviously wasn't expected to be anything crazy, but he came in here with the potential to be a backup running back. Hasn't been that. Keontae Ingram has struggled so hard. And then Amari DeMarcado had a couple good games, and he was decent in a couple instances he legit had a chance to play. But is he a long-term backup? We're not sure. So the fact that Michael Carter got released and we have a chance to get a potential guy who in his rookie season looked like an absolute baller. And this is what I put up as soon as the Arizona Cardinals, or as soon as he got released, the Cardinals need a backup running back. I mean, they went out, they did their thing, but he's fantastic, especially from his rookie season. A lot of Jets fans said he looks horrible this season. He's a bad third down back. And obviously there's a lot of stuff that's to be desired out of him. And he has to get back to that, right? But we saw it his rookie season. He can do this. Not only is he good in the run game, but he's good in the receiving game as well. And that's kind of what we've been missing. We haven't had a compliment back for James Conner since Chase Edmonds.
True.
And Chase Edmonds looked fantastic. Just a guy who can get you 4 yards per carry, can come out of the backfield, make a couple receptions, make some plays. And I don't even expect Michael Carter to be that third down back here, right? James Conner has been basically an every down back. Right? There's here and there where James Conner will sub out, get a little breather, but James Conner has taken a lot of the workload. So if you can get Michael Carter in here, maybe that prevents injuries too.
Yeah.
There's a lot about this that is to be desired. And right now I'd say he's like a running back 3 for us. Obviously it's going to take time to catch up, get into the playbook, but eventually I think Michael Carter has running back 2 potential.
Ooh, I like that. I mean, that would be great. I think, the elephant in the room obviously was we do need somebody behind James Conner, right? We ended up seeing him being injured and jumping, not jumping into the IR, but he was placed on the IR, and we just got him back this last game. But everybody outside of James Conner, whether it's Amari DeMarcado, Keontae Ingram, Tony Jones Jr., which I believe he just got released, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think so.
Yeah, right. There's just nobody after him. There really isn't. So I'm excited about this move. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to be contending for a number one, RB. But that's the thing. Look, we don't need that. We need somebody that is going to be second string, that's going to be able to catch out of the backfield like your Chase Edmonds. And I always love to bring Andre Ellington as well, because those are the type of running backs that I love to complement your big bruiser type of running back. And honestly, if Michael Carter can be that guy, that would be huge. That would be awesome for the Cardinals moving forward. Now, I still hope that the Cardinals can maybe use a draft pick in maybe the mid rounds in this coming draft to maybe, do something like that and get a running back. But if Michael Carter works out for us, then hey, that's great. But as of right now, shout out to Monty Austinford to continue to bring in talent here whenever he sees fit. We don't know if this guy's going to be the future, right? Or we don't know if he's going to be a future plan for the Cardinals moving forward. But just the fact that we're continuing to unturn those stones is exactly what we're looking for as Cardinal fans, because we could have easily said we're 2-8, right? Let's just ride out what we have and let's see what it is. But Monty Austinford is continuing to add talent, or at least hoping to add the talent that is going to bring
help
this missing piece
contend.
together. Yeah, contend. Yeah.
And what's crazy is I looked this up. Chase Edmonds weighed 208 pounds, was 5'9", right? Michael
Yeah.
Carter is 5'8", 201 pounds. Same weight, 1 inch shorter. So it's kind of crazy, right? And they have similar play styles as well, obviously. So, I mean, I don't know. Like, could he be that for us? I really hope so. I'm kind of like banking on the potential because we've
Hope
seen what
so
he did
too.
in we saw what he did in year one. He looked fantastic. Like I watched him in New York in like 2021 and was like, dang, this guy's pretty good. And then Brees
Right.
Hall comes in and you're like, dang, their backfield's crazy. And then they signed Dalvin Cook. I'm like, how's this gonna work? like because Michael Carter year two had that drop off, and I was like, how's this gonna work? Is Michael Carter just not gonna play, or is Brees Hall not gonna play? Because Brees Hall, when he comes back, is probably running back one, which he is. And then Dalvin Cook's still not getting play. So it's like it's really weird how that whole dynamic shifted. So him getting cut, did it catch you off guard?
It did. I did jump into a couple of New York Jets YouTubers that basically do what we do and kind of get their opinion. A lot of it kind of seems that he was like the odd man out. It seemed like he kind of made some mistakes. And a lot of people were like wanting to hold people accountable. I don't know. I think this was kind of a move where they had another running back outside Delvin Cook that they wanted to see what he can do. And I think he kind of was the odd man out. And I think he ended up getting cut. I don't think he wanted to take the back seat from another guy. Now, obviously, with Dalvin Cook, it just became a very, very crowded running back situation with the New York Jets. So good for them for being in that problem. But like, their loss is hopefully our gain is what
Oh
we're
yeah.
really hoping for in our end. So we'll see. We need another Chase Edmonds. I know a lot of people kind of forgot about him, or maybe even Andre Ellington, but we need one of those guys that's going to be able to catch out of the backfield. I think that would be absolutely crucial for the Cardinals. So hopefully this guy works out. But let's get to my guy here, AZ Fan 1998. He says, I think the Cardinals regime is wanting to go streaking.
Like got a win streak.
All win streak. Okay, win streak. Okay. BJ said they want to make go for the playoffs. I'm excited for this mentality. Welcome, Carter. So yeah, I think he wants to go on a streak.
Unless Monty Ossenfort wants to get butt naked and start streaking, then
Right.
I mean that's another conversation for another time.
Yeah, that's for a different podcast there. But yeah, no, I mean, we hope so, right? I'm glad that they do have that mentality because yes, they're 2-8, but like fans like me and you, we want to continue to see that high. We want to continue to see that ride of continuing to win as well. So being the fact that they have that mentality is good, right? I mean, can you agree?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, why would we go out and sign Michael Carter? Like I had people in my comment section who were like, why are we going to do this? What's the point? Like, are we trying to win games? Like, yes. Like I know we've been saying it and we're kind of just on that boat. And obviously it's easy. It's like easier for us to see, I feel like, because we kind of follow this a lot more heavy and then kind of are like more involved, I guess. And there's a lot of like casual fans. Like I'm not same thing with like the Diamondbacks, right?
Yeah.
Like if it was like the Diamondbacks and I'm like, because I'm super casual, right? I don't know anything about that. Like I'll hear like signings or whatever, but like if they are like, oh, are they going to move on from this guy? Like some people probably would know. Like some fans will know. Like yeah, he's not going to be back next season. I'd be like, I don't know, right?
Right.
Like, I have no clue. Like potentially, I mean, he looks good, but I'm not sure. But we follow this a lot closer. We know this regime doesn't want to lose, right? Like every game has been competitive. A lot of fans do know we want to be competitive. So we're trying to win football games. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt in a lot of people's minds. There's no doubt in your mind. Like we want to win. So this move wasn't surprising that it was made necessarily. It's just, I don't know. Like, is the possibility of a streak, like a little 4-game, 3-game streak possible? I feel like if we win this game, it tells a lot,
It does.
honestly, because I think we can go in, beat the Rams. Because if we face someone like Carson Wentz, I'm not necessarily worried. Someone who just got signed like a week ago.
Right.
So he'd have 2 weeks of prep. I'm not necessarily worried. Obviously, we know Carson Wentz has great potential, but I'm not necessarily worried about that. But I don't know, man. A potential streak is definitely there. Do you think the Cardinals rally behind this last win and just pop off for 3-4 more?
I mean, this would be the perfect opportunity to do so. You got your franchise quarterback back, right? He comes off on a magical, last drive and doing what old Kyler Murray used to do. I mean, why not? Like why wouldn't you want to continue to build off of that? And I get the people that are coming out here with the draft capital instance, but like we got to get out of that loser mentality. And I'm not calling people having loser. We just got to get out of that mentality. Like we've been bottom feeders for such a long time. Like, we got a new regime. We finally got rid of Kime, and hopefully Monty Austin is going to be wanting to change this whole narrative and this whole culture. And this is where it starts. You can't start off your new regime with a losing mindset because we want to get a first top draft pick. And if that's where we land, then that's where we land. But like, intentionally trying to lose games is not what I'm about. Like, let's continue to build off this good win, right, against the Falcons, because any win is good, at least in my book here in the NFL. So I say so, man. We 3 podcasts ago, we talked about this is going to be the spot where the Cardinals can maybe make some sort of noise, right? Because you got the Falcons, you got the Texans, which are playing better than we all thought. We're going to dive into them a little later on, and then we got the Rams and then the Steelers right after them. So why not? Why not get an opportunity here?
Right. And if this win occurs this Sunday, man, I see no reason why we can't come in. We can't beat the Rams. We can't beat the Steelers, right? The Steelers offense isn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
The Rams obviously have talent, but like they just don't do it for me, man. Like I really genuinely feel like a 3-game win streak is very possible.
I hope so, man. I hope so, because all the noise that we're hearing from Kyler Murray is going to get double and triple-fied if we're going to be on a 3-game winning streak. So we'll have to wait and see. But let's keep continuing just a little bit more on Michael Carter. His career stats. Now, granted, he was drafted, was it 3 years ago? So this is his 3rd year, if I'm not mistaken.
This is his 3rd year.
3rd year, yeah. So his career stats right now is over 1,000 yards. So 1,079 yards, average about 4 yards carry, 7 touchdowns total. So he's got like over 1,000 yards. And like you said, his rookie year was, I guess, where he popped off a lot. So that's kind of what we're trying to hopefully see Michael Carter come back. Sometimes you just need a change in scenery. Sometimes you need a coaching staff that believes in you and gives you the opportunity. And maybe, heck, why not, right? We got Amari DeMarcado and Keontae Ingram that got that, and they're just not doing it for me. They're not doing it for me on a consistent basis. So why not? Why not bring Michael Carter in?
Absolutely, man. Sometimes that change of scenery can really do it. Like Baker Mayfield looked good his rookie season.
Yeah.
Obviously, never really got going past that, right? He made the playoffs, got the Browns their first win, and then went to LA, kind of found a groove, signed with Tampa, and now he's having a great season. So maybe that's what it takes for Michael Carter. Obviously, Baker Mayfield was the #1 overall pick. Michael Carter wasn't that, but he was great for the Jets year 1. So There's definitely talent to be desired.
I agree. When it comes down to his like collegiate stats, and I know some people don't care, but like he was in college for 4 years, 2017 to 2020. He had over 28 touchdowns just in total. So like, I mean, this guy makes noise. We just got to give him the opportunity. We'll have to wait and see. And I get it. It's completely different games, right? Collegiate to the NFL, 2 different games, but this guy seems to be, hopefully, if he has that chip on his shoulder, he's going to get the opportunity. And what I'm hearing from JG, I don't know, like I'm actually I think we might be playing him, maybe not this week, but like maybe next week or the following week. What are your thoughts here? And when do you think we're going to see Michael Carter?
What did he say exactly?
I mean, so basically there's just kind of a lot of glowing remarks about like how he's fitting in and in the fact that like he looks good. And I think opportunity is going to give to him. I'm not sure if we're going to like activate him, but because right now I believe he's is he practice squad right now or?
I'm not sure exactly.
I don't know either.
I think we just claimed him. I wouldn't imagine in a world where Michael Carter necessarily gets snaps 4 days or 5 days.
Right, I agree with that.
Being signed. But I could definitely see next week. I'm not sure where he's at, though. He could be practice squad, but he's going to get elevated for sure.
I agree with that. Yeah, no, I think next week does seem a little bit more plausible because you're right. We just got him like on Wednesday. We just literally claimed him. And we already seen the social media team yesterday say, oh, he's in practice, right? So he's already suited up. He's kind of ready to go. But like everything that JG has said, and I've kind of only chimed into like spurs here and there, like they had some good things to say about him. Just kind of surrounding how good he looks.
Absolutely. And I think he's going to be really solid for us. So I'm really optimistic about this. Like genuinely, I'm super optimistic about this. There's 2 players. Obviously there's Jack Jones, who I was just like, it would help in the corner room. It doesn't necessarily like fit what we're doing just because of everything that's transpired. And then Michael Carter gets released. I'm like, okay, that's someone we have to sign.
Right.
Have to sign. No ifs, ands, or buts. We talked about needing a backup running back. We're here. And the Cardinals did it, man. They know. They needed a backup running back bad.
Absolutely bad. Perfect. All right. Well, let's jump into Cardinals Texans, shall we? Now, I ended up asking here a guy that does what we do here, very similar. Obviously, we cover the Arizona Cardinals. If you guys don't know, there is another world in the YouTube world where there's a lot of content creators that cover their favorite team as well. So I ended up reaching out to one of my buddies here, 713 Houston Sports, to kind of get a gauge on how the heck are the Texans doing what they're doing, right? Everybody thought that they were going to be duty. They thought they're going to be bad, right? Rookie quarterback. Now, obviously, I think they're going to go through some bumps and bruises with their rookie quarterback, but like, I don't think anybody expected to the level of what we've been seeing. I think they're 5-4. They're second in their division. Now, he went ahead and sent me this information because I ended up asking, I was like, what's going on here with the Texans? Give me some insight. And he said this: O-line, it has become their strength despite many injuries and people playing out of position. Tight end, Dalton Schultz is a beast. Any wide receiver can go off. 4 different pass catchers with 100-yard games. CJ Stroud is playing like an MVP. Might be out starting safety Jimmy Ward. When he's out, we allow a lot of points. So I think he's just basically saying that if Jimmy Ward's out, a lot of points are being put onto this team. But just focusing on the first 3 spots, I think we all know CJ Stroud is playing like an MVP. We're already hearing stuff like that. But like Dalton Schultz, and then the wide receiving core, and then that offensive line, I guess that's more surprising to me. That offensive line is becoming their strength despite many injuries. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, if you watch the Texans, like all these things are true. And the only thing that I necessarily didn't know was Jimmy Ward and his impact, right? I didn't know he made that big of an impact on defense. That when he's out, like I guess it's kind of just like Budda Baker, and this is like obviously very different comparison. I'm not comparing Budda Baker to Jimmy Ward, but like if Budda Baker's out on defense, it's tough, right? That's kind of just like the leader on defense who gets everything together and just holds it together. He's like the glue guy. And obviously the play on the field is fantastic. So I'm assuming that's what Jimmy Ward is for them. And I didn't necessarily know that, but we knew CJ Stroud was playing like an MVP.
Oh, yeah.
And then we know any receiver can go off, right? We saw Noah Brown pop off for like 150. We saw Devin Singletary, their running back, pop off for 150 game or whatever it was. And they obviously have Nico Collins, they have Tank Dell, Dalton Schultz, who he also said has been playing fantastic. Like for some reason, they're able to take the Dallas Cowboys weapons and just make them better than what they've ever been. Noah Brown is having a breakout season. Dalton Schultz has always been very solid. He looks great in Houston alongside CJ Stroud. And that O-line, that is the thing that is shocking me probably the absolute most. Because not only have they dealt with so many injuries, there was a point where like 8 of their like offensive linemen, like 4 of their starters or something at some point were out. And they won the game, which is absolutely insane.
It is.
Like if you have 4 of your starting offensive linemen and then on top of that, just like 4 reserves gone as well. It's like, how on God's green earth are you pulling that away? Like CJ Stroud is just elevating everybody. And I've said this, CJ Stroud, and it was in the comments, has looked like a legit MVP. I'm not sitting here and I'm not over exaggerating, right?
Yeah.
CJ Stroud could be easily a top 3 MVP candidate. And if he leads the Texans team to the playoffs and continues to put up stats like these, he like, I don't know if he'll win it just because of narratives and how the NFL works. Are they going to really hand it to a rookie? I don't know. But like the way he's playing, he deserves a nod, right? He definitely deserves a nod.
Right. So we just got some news while you were talking. By the way, Noah Brown, there's just a report that came out, won't play week 11.
Need that. And then is it Nico Collins or Tank Dell who's listed as questionable?
Right now they have a lot of injury people right now. What you said, what was the options? Tank Dell, and what was the other option?
Nico Collins. I know one of them was listed on there.
Yeah, Nico Collins is limited for both Wednesday and Thursday. And then Tank Dell, I don't see him on the injury report.
I think it was just Nico.
Yeah. But yeah, Noah Brown didn't practice Wednesday or Thursday. And there was a report that just came out literally a minute ago when you were talking saying Noah Brown will not be playing versus the Cardinals.
Well, hopefully he heals up soon, but that is a huge loss for them. So it gives us a better chance.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Wow. Okay. Well, breaking news, right? Well, while on our stream, we just talked about their wide receiving core in terms of like any person can pop off for 100 yards. And that's just kind of attributed to CJ Stroud and what he's been doing so far. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to see CJ Stroud. Now, I don't think we're going to see him very often, obviously, AFC compared to NFC. So, but like, I don't know. I'm kind of excited for this matchup, right? Now, granted, Kyler doesn't play against CJ Stroud. We get that, but like just the thought of the matchup sounds really, really cool on paper to me.
Yeah. And I feel like Thunder hit it right on the hammer, right? Kyler was 7-0, was an MVP candidate. Stroud has half a year to go. It's a long season. I feel
Yeah.
like that's pretty spot on, pretty fair assessment, right? You do have to finish out this rest of the year. Like, obviously, they can go on a massive losing streak and CJ Stroud could throw a bunch of picks. But so far, I mean, can't discredit him. Like, you really can't. It's tough, but they've had some bad losses. Bad losses. They lost to the Carolina Panthers, gave them their first win of the season. So
Right.
that's that's not a good look. But at the same time, these last 2 weeks have been ultra impressive, right? They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they didn't put up 40, they put up almost 40. And then they just beat the Cincinnati Bengals, who have looked great. So I don't know. 2 game-winning drives. Can't discredit the kid.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of wait and see how it all shakes out here. Now, we did talk about in terms of like who we wanted to kind of see break out on the last pod, so we're not going to really dive into that here in this one here. But what do you want to talk about here? Whether it's Cardinals or Cardinals and Texans or Michael Carter, what do you want to dive into?
I kind of just want to discuss, like, going into the Houston game. Like, obviously, we discussed the players. What do you think is going to be just like the biggest overall, like, what's like the biggest thing that the Arizona Cardinals are going to have to do to walk away with the win? If you could just pinpoint one thing, like, what are the Cardinals going to have to get right? Like, is it going to be pressure on CJ Stroud? Is it going to be the offense having to put up a certain amount of points? Like, what do
Oh,
you feel the Arizona Cardinals are going to have to do? Or maybe there's two things. I won't limit you to just one because
yeah.
one is tough.
It is tough. Yeah. Honestly, I think that the one that kind of really sticks out to me right now is what you just said, pressure on CJ Stroud. I think I think that should be the number one thing. Now, I think our defense is, we've said this many times, and it's crazy because there's still people out there that don't give credit to our defense, but I mean, it is what it is. But our defense has been playing above expectations this year. Now, granted, they haven't got their flowers because obviously they break towards the end because our offense just can't get it right. But like, I think pressure on CJ Stroud is exactly what we need to do. We have a young kid back there in a rookie quarterback, which I think this kid's going to have a really good career, or at least I hope so, right? In the AFC, not the NFC, the
Right.
AFC. So I think he's going to have a good career, but like, we can't ignore the fact that he's a rookie still, right? We can't ignore the fact that like if we send different formations and try to confuse him and it works, that's only going to be to the advantage of the Arizona Cardinals because we do got the pieces out there. We got the weapons out there to be able to confuse them, whether it's with Budda Baker or maybe sending Kazir White. And let's be honest, when you're sending Kazir White and he tackles you, I feel like that kind of sets a tone because Kazir White is as not brutal, but like as physical. I guess that's the best word. Physical as it gets when it comes down to a guy that sets a tone for our defense. It's Kazir White and Budda Baker for me. So I think pressure is the number one thing the Arizona Cardinals need to do in order for us to get the win. Because I still think they're going to get their points. I don't think it's like we're going to shut down CJ Stroud. I don't think
Yeah.
we have a defense that's going to be able to shut down anybody. I think they can be a good defense, and I think that's what we need. But pressure. I think pressure is the number one thing. I'll give it to you, and then let me think about something else.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Like, if you let CJ Stroud get comfortable, obviously this kid's confidence is probably through the roof 9 games in, leading a team that was written off at the beginning of the year by a lot of national media. Maybe not a lot of Texans fans, but national media wrote him off completely. He was labeling
Right.
them as the number 2 worst team in the NFL, right behind us. So, I mean, they hear everything. So the
Yeah.
fact they're 5-4, I mean, the Cardinals could be in a very similar position right now. The Texans are actually in that position though. So they're in contention for playoffs. They need a win right here, right? This is a game they can't drop. This
Yeah.
is what's seen as a freebie in the eyes of everybody else. They don't, like, obviously a lot of Texans fans are actually giving the Cardinals credit. Like, a lot of Texans have came into my YouTube comments and have honestly gave praise to the Cardinals. Like, we know we can't take you guys lightly. Like, from the outsider's perspective, everyone sees that you guys are playing hard. So testament to everyone on the Arizona Cardinals, obviously, Monty Austin, Jonathan Gannon for building a culture, getting people to play for you. But I would say, like, I would have to agree. That's like the number one biggest thing is if CJ Stroud is comfortable, or if you allow the Texans to be 2-dimensional and let them run the ball and pass the ball all over you, we're going to be in for a long day because the Texans don't have a running back that, like, should pop off. Like Devin Singletary had a great game, fantastic game with 30 carries last week.
Yeah.
Is he going to get 30 carries again? I don't see that. There's like, I just don't see it. I can see Singletary getting 15 to 18 carries max, and that's kind of just his cap right there.
Yeah.
And if he pops off for anything past that, then I'll be a little surprised. But the Cardinals do have a bad run defense, so maybe that's the direction they take it, because the Bengals do have a bad run defense, and they weren't hesitant to run that ball 30 times. So I would say you just can't let CJ Stroud get comfortable, right? Once he's comfortable, I feel like he just gets in a groove. And once he's in a groove, it's tough to break him.
Yeah, because he's got the weapon. He's got a really solid tight end over there in Dalton Schultz. So like, obviously, I think we've all said this before, right? With tight ends are usually the best friends of rookie quarterbacks or just quarterbacks in general, because they're always that reliable guy there for them. So yeah, I think we could both agree on the pressure. Let's go one more. Let me go next, then I'll have you take some time to think about your second one.
Perfect.
So my second one, I think, is what the Arizona Cardinals need to do. This is Kyler Murray's second game coming back. I don't want to put too much expectation on him. And by expectation, I mean like over 300 yards. But like, obviously, I think we're going to need to have Kyler Murray play a clean game. I think that's a given. But I want to go and focus on something else here real quick. I want to talk about penalties. Now, I think we both can agree that ref or that refereeing, the ref that were, all the refs that were playing you know what I'm trying to say? They were terrible.
The refs have been horrible all season long. The refs in the NBA, the NFL have been absolutely awful. And that last game that we saw with the Arizona Cardinals was atrocious.
Atrocious. Absolutely. I still do think that penalties need to be cleaned up. I think that the shooting ourselves in the foot needs to be something that I'm hoping this coaching staff really takes it to heart and cleans it up. Granted, you can't save yourself from terrible refereeing, right? But at the end of the day, we got to clean up what we can clean up, whether it's those false starts, whether it was boneheaded, offside stuff like that pre-snap. We got to clean that stuff up, or heck, even pass interference, which could be subjective to whoever's out there. But I think the penalties need to be cleaned up as well in order for us to get any chance to win this game against the Texans.
I like that one. That's a sleeper pick, honestly.
Yeah.
That's going to go under the radar, because last week Kyler Murray bailed us, right? James Conner bailed us a couple times too, but like Kyler Murray legitimately bailed us. There's a time where it was like 1st and 30 or 1st and 20, and Kyler Murray hit Higgins for like a wide open pass, and he just dropped it.
Yep.
And I was like, no way. Like Kyler literally just it was on the money.
It was in his hand. Right.
It was literally right in the money.
Yep.
And he was wide open. And I was just like, there's no shot. And I don't remember if we converted that or not, but like, there's just so many times like Kyler Murray even had a couple he had one false start that I think everyone moved, or not Kyler Murray, the Cardinals offense, had a false start where everyone moved but the center.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Kyler Murray had to delay a game, obviously, tried to get that timeout off, couldn't get it. That's a 5-yard penalty. Like, obviously, there's a lot to be cleaned up, but this is his first game, right?
Yeah.
To be expected. There's going to be a couple hiccups here and there. So I'm not necessarily worried. Like, week 2, I think everything's going to be a lot more clean. And if it's not, then that's another conversation for another day. But obviously, that has to be fixed, right? You can't have plays like that. That's just very last regime-esque, and we need to clean this up. And penalties have been a problem all season long, honestly. They still have been an underlying problem. Obviously, it hasn't been as headlined as it was in previous seasons, but it's definitely there. So I agree with you. That definitely needs to be cleaned up.
What is your 2? Is that your 2 as well, or do you have something different?
I like that one a lot. I'm going to switch it up, though, and try to be different. But I like that one a lot. If I had to say anything, I would say the Cardinals have to find a way to just capitalize early, right? Because we see this Texans team pop off for 30 points consistently. And if the Cardinals fall behind in this game, it's going to be tough to play catch up. Yeah. It's going to be tough to play catch up, and we don't want to play catch up, right? So we want to be able to, off the rip, score points. Got to score points off the rip. And if we don't, then if the Texans, because I expect the Texans at some point to catch fire. Yeah. So if they might score in their first drive. If it's not 6, it's going to be 3. So I don't know. I just feel like the Cardinals have been really good at forcing 3 and outs, though.
Yeah.
On their first couple drives. So I'm not sure, but I feel like the Texans are going to get things going pretty early. So I feel like the Cardinals are going to have to match that energy. And I feel like there's going to be a lot of possessions for both teams. So I feel like the Cardinals are going to have to figure out a way to get points on the board quick. Otherwise, they could fall behind. And that's not something we want, very obviously.
Yeah, I like that one too. Starting off hot. Second week here of Kyler Murray. James Conner obviously can continue to do what he does. We need to see Marquise and Kyler come back to their connection, man. There's the two passes from Kyler. One of them was that slant pass in the beginning of the game, and then the other one that was a ball chuck. I'm starting to feel bad for Marquise, man. He's
right.
always getting this short end of the stick, whether it was Dobbs or Kyler Murray. It's not there yet. The connection, or I'm not saying the connection, but the timing isn't quite down yet. Whoever is at quarterback. So I need Marquise to pop off.
He has a minimum of 3 touchdowns that are coming to my head that have just been literally wide open. Just snatched from him, like literally snatched from him by bad throws. It's like not even the defense doing anything. He'll be like wide open, burn the defense, and it's just like wide open touchdowns. And it's like, dang, right? Like last season or last game, he
Fingertips, literally,
and he's doing everything he can to get it. He's diving for the ball,
Yeah.
and he just can't get it. Like it's just like barely out of reach. He has to like make the extra play, make like the most insane plays. And like sometimes they're not even possible. Like last game, Hollywood 1 reception for 28 yards, could have easily had 2 more.
Oh yeah.
And he could have eclipsed 60 with a touchdown. So like his stats don't look fantastic on the year. 468, 4 touchdowns this season though is pretty crazy because he could be a 7 touchdown, 8 touchdown receiver right now with almost 550, 600, whatever it is, yards, 600 yards and 8 touchdowns. And we're talking about a complete different season, right? Like that's just how crazy it is. And if you watch all the games, you know all the plays that happened. I don't remember the exact games. I believe it's Seattle. He had 2 touchdowns missed. And then this last game against Atlanta.
Yeah.
It's been tough for him. It's been tough.
Very, very tough. We kind of touched on this on the last podcast, but I kind of want to get your opinion again, maybe go a little deeper. What are your thoughts on like the goal line tush push touchdown by Clayton Tune? And not like, oh, Clayton Tune did it. But it was more like, I guess more of a fantasy perspective. I'm seeing a lot of Cardinal fans like really upset, like you just took a touchdown from Kyler Murray, or that could have been James Conner touchdown. What are your thoughts on that? Like, do you like that Cardinals are mixing it up, or like, what are your thoughts on it?
I do, right? The NFL, every play is stealable, right? Every play gets stolen. That's how the NFL works. They see a play you like, it gets integrated. And I love it. Like, I genuinely do. We have a prototypical quarterback at like 6'3", 200 and something pounds. Obviously, they said he bobbled the snap. I don't know if he bobbled it, but like, this is first tush push, right?
Right.
I love the integration of that. Like, genuinely, I do. Because we've seen times where with Cliff Kingsbury, where we'll be in the red zone, we'll be in shotgun every time. And it's like, what are we doing? Right? Like, just line them up under center, hand James Conner the ball 4 times. I'm not going to complain, right? If they sack 4 times, so be it. But now it's just like, you got this insanely OP play that not a lot of teams can run, but the Philadelphia Eagles have perfected this. And if you can get it down, then by all means, run it. I don't care, right? If you can get the ball in the end zone, I don't care who scores it. I don't think Kyler cares. I don't think James Conner cares. Like, obviously, you want to pack on stats, and it's like, yeah, I threw for the touchdown. Like, Kyler could have had that touchdown to Michael Wilson, but his knee came down.
True.
And then it doesn't even matter at the end of that. I'm sure Kyler's not sitting here like, oh, I didn't have my touchdown.
Right.
I'm sure he's like, we got the win. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, after the game, did you see the clip of him screaming? He's like, let's go.
That's what his reaction was most fan base. Truly, like the fan base, they're so excited for a win because that's what we need, man. We just need some sort of life, man. We have a heartbeat that's almost dying. And when Kyler Murray came back, the heartbeat starts kind of coming back, right? The soul of this offense. So I'm excited, man. Honestly, this game is winnable, but we can't allow our Kyler Murray's back to sleep on this Texans team. Like, they're 5-4 for a reason. Yes, they're a rookie quarterback, but what we said that we need to do to win, we truly need to do those things in order for us to have a chance of winning. Like, truly.
Absolutely. We absolutely do. And did you see that Kyler clip that I was talking about?
You're talking about the one where like literally it's kind of like selfie mode? Yeah, right.
I just
after the game, right?
Yeah. I just put it in. Hold on, I'm gonna play it real quick. It's like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Let's go. Come on, man.
Just super pumped, man. Just super excited. And you can tell he's just like, he doesn't care, right? He doesn't care about the touchdown. He just cares about the win. We got it. And I love how he's showing emotion now, right? Like you can tell he's super bought in as well. I don't know if you can see that, but he just
Yeah,
different, right?
absolutely.
Just
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, like we've said before, man, Kyler Murray, most people don't, not, I'm sorry, some people don't want to admit, but Kyler Murray makes this team relevant. For the people out there that wanted to move off of him without seeing him this year, I don't get it. I don't understand it. I truly don't. Because this guy right here
Let's go. Come on, man.
wants to win. He wants to
Right.
win. And honestly, as Cardinal fans, we should be riding with Kyler Murray. He came out here in game one with multiple months without playing a real snap of football, and he came up and balled and won. So I get it. There was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning. I think we all kind of expected it, but this is kind of what we expect from our franchise quarterback when he comes back, to be honest with you.
Yeah, even first game, like I expected a little rust. Obviously, it was there in terms of penalties and a couple missed throws, but he looks sharp. Best quarterback that we've seen all season long, no debate. Like
Yeah,
genuinely,
no
no debate.
comparison. No comparison. Anything else you want to talk about? Obviously, these Friday streams, we kind of talked about a good chunk of the Texans versus Cardinals in the last pod. So if you missed it, definitely go and check out that one. Anything else you want to dive into?
I think that's about everything, right? We
Yeah.
talked Texans, we got Michael Carter and Texans injuries. We deep dove a little bit on what we need to look forward to, what the Cardinals need to do. I feel like we discussed almost everything. I don't think anything else happened.
Yeah. In terms of the Cardinals injury report, let's dive into because right now, like if you look at the the Texans, literally it's like a freaking
20
novel.
man, nice little 21 man practice squad.
It is wild. They got everybody up in there, like anything. But let's bring up the obviously Cardinals channel here. Let's bring up the injury report here for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm actually uploading it right now so we can dive into it.
Perfect.
Usually we have more worrisome heading into the week, especially I guess we're kind of used to it as Cardinal fans. But like looking at the injury report here for this last Wednesday, the only guy that really kind of screams out to me is obviously DJ Humphries, which was limited on Wednesday. Is there anybody else that kind of really, speaks out to you? We got 3 people that didn't practice up there, but what are your thoughts?
Honestly, Joey Blunt.
Yeah. Okay.
And Jonathan Ledbetter are 2 underrated
That's
people
true.
on here. Jonathan Ledbetter has been okay. Obviously, we're losing 2 of our starting defensive tackles from the very beginning of the season. So our D-line depth is very bad. But Jonathan Ledbetter's came in here and been pretty solid for us.
True.
Not great, not fantastic, but he's looked a lot better than we could have asked. And then Joey Blunt on special teams has been fantastic. He's like the special teams player of the year for us. Like he's kind of like, I'm not going to say Justin Bethel, but he's kind of just like one of those people who come in here and make a play. He had back-to-back weeks where he forced a fumble on punt return. So obviously Joey Blunt's not a name that's going to catch a lot of people's eye, but he's been great all season long on special teams. And then Jonathan Ledbetter, it just hurts the D-line depth a ton.
Yeah.
And then you can't really overlook DJ Humphries. You can't do it. That's the big name right there.
I agree. No, I 100% agree. DJ Humphries, and I know there's a lot of frustration with Cardinal fans right now, but we are better with him on the field than we are without him. Like let's call it like it is. So
exactly.
There isn't any big like James. We're used to seeing James Conner on there all the time. We're used to seeing Marquise on there with like an illness. Somehow he's been sick like multiple times this year so far. So this is a good thing. This is not a bad injury report compared to what we're kind of used to as Cardinal fans. So we'll take it. Obviously today is Friday, and then Thursday hasn't been updated on there as well. So we'll have to kind of wait and see. But I think things are starting to trend in the right direction. Now, if you guys don't know, one of the guys that we talked about on the last pod, Noah Brown, which went off last week, he was already ruled out for the Texans as well. So that's a huge blow for that wide receiving core in the Texans. So
it's a massive blow. Like I feel like people are going to underrate that a little bit, but that's a tough loss, like big time loss, because Noah Brown for some reason is just exploding for them. So
yeah. No, I agree. Tank Dell, and if Nico Collins can go, because like I said, the injury report is long, man. It's long for the Texans right now. So we'll see. All right, man. We got a team that's going to be fighting for a playoff spot and a team in the Arizona Cardinals that are continuing to want to build wins and stack up wins for 2024. I'm for it. I'm excited about it. Cardinals versus Texans this coming weekend. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to close up shop. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, go Cards.